we go. It is January 2021. Happy New Year to you all out there. This is our first broadcast of the brand new year, and let's all hope it's a year that is going to be so much better than the one that we have just left behind. 2020 been quite a challenge for everyone, still a bit of a challenge for us all, but we're into a new year and all sorts of positive things to get our heads around. So here we go. This is our first broadcast of the year. Did you have a good Christmas? Did you have a good New Year? If you did, let me know in the comments. You know how it all goes. Interact with us, talk to us, tell us how you're doing, tell us what's going on. We want to know everything. So what have we got lined up for you for tonight, our first broadcast of 2021? Well, in a second, as ever, we're going to go through the latest of our members competition winners. So we just give out those results shortly. I have some news about our brand new premium competition, so I'll tell you about that also shortly. Plus, opportunity for people who want to enter that to get a 25% discount tonight. So keep your ears peeled, or your eyes peeled, or your ears peeled for that one. As ever, 3 really decent whiskey-based cocktails that I will be sharing with you this evening. Plus, I've got a few discussion topics. So no quiz tonight, but I've got a few things that I picked out of the news, and it just sort of got my head rolling around the idea that there's a lot of stuff going on in the world of whiskey, so I'm going to put it out there, give you my opinion, and also you can share them with me, and maybe we can get a bit of a discussion going on that. So tonight's broadcast, what I've done is I've put up a, let me just see where the comments are, because this is a slightly different interface. Anyone talking? Oh no comments, because nobody's talking to me. So it's slightly different to normal. Actually, I'm thinking that you probably are talking to me because there's quite a few of you. So what have I done here? Let me see. What have we got? I'm not quite sure what I have to do. This is all new interface, so forgive me for that. I didn't realize this was going to come up. I'm going to try this, try that. Okay, is that working? Okay, talk to me if you can, because I don't appear to be getting any comments from anyone at the moment. But notwithstanding that, we've got quite a few little bits and pieces that I thought would make for a really nice broadcast, the first of the year. Actually, that's really starting to distract me now. So what have I done wrong there? Okay, so an interesting one. We have, what am I trying to say? Oh yes, I put this up as an event this evening. Right, so normally we just go live with Facebook Live. I put it up as an event, which I wonder whether that might be a case of enabling more people to know that we're on and we're live, but it seems to have changed the way that I see things. So let me see. Sorry, I can see that comments are being left, but I can't see what the comments are, everyone. This is really not very good for us. Look, really sorry if you're putting stuff and you're saying things to me. Not entirely sure what's going on and why it's not showing. Yeah, I'm at a loss for this. So I'm just going to imagine, which is not really very good, is it, when you guys are trying to communicate with me? But I'm just going to imagine that you are talking to me, and hopefully I'm going to have a bit of a one-way discussion that makes sense to you anyway. All right, look, so here we go. First things first, as ever, we like to have a bit of a drink with each other. And have you come in to help me with this?
Yeah.
Oh, you've got them on there. Right, okay. So Cheryl's come in to help me. She's giving me her device so I can see your comments. Can we knock out the volume on that?
Share it live.
Say again?
Bruce is saying share it live. Apparently you're not sharing it live.
Am I not sharing this live?
On Bruce's comment there it says share it live.
Okay, how do I turn down the volume? Sorry everybody, I know that normally we're flying and everything's really, really smooth, but I'm just going to pop that up there so I can see. There we are. Okay, right, so Bruce is saying what? Everyone, share this live. I think he's probably talking to everybody else. Share this video with friends, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I can see you guys. Paul Slade, nice to see you. Bruce, oh, this feels better. Kind of weird when I've got no one to talk to. Barry is there, Cat Jam, Kesutsis. Happy New Year. Have I pronounced your name correctly? I'm not sure if I have. Barry's there. Paul Musson, good evening, Paul. On October Mori 12. Right, okay, so what are the rest of you drinking? Right, I'm just popping that up against my screen there. All right, we're going to try and make this work one way or another. What are you drinking? I'll tell you what I'm drinking this evening. I have got a Glenlivet Caribbean cask, which is something that I hadn't actually been aware of before, but I got it as a present, and I actually made a massive hole in it. Absolutely delicious, and I've got a little bit of that on the go here this evening as well. So cheers to you all. Scrolling a little bit more. No, we're good. I seem to be on top of the comments there. So first of all, cheers. As Barry said, I think I just saw that. It can't be worse than last year, can it? No, hopefully it's going to be a better one. But cheers to you all. That's gorgeous. Thanks for joining us. Let me first of all tell you the winners of last week's members whiskey competition, our weekly whiskey competition that we do for our members, where people pick from our prize library and they pick one of 50 different prizes that they can use. So just using that, we've got week 48, our winner, which ended last night. New competition starts every Tuesday night at midnight. That's midnight Wednesday, I think that works out. Anyway, Gary Cummins. Gary, you already know, actually normally I announce it in these broadcasts first, but I've already let Gary know. So Gary was our winner, and I can tell you that actually he's chosen a bottle of Downmore 18, which is a very popular prize. Might be a prize that I'm going to have to remove from the prize library, not because it's so popular with us, but it's just so popular generally, really difficult for me to get hold of now. But anyway, he's getting a Downmore 18, so congratulations to you. And actually our spot prize winner for last week was Cat Jam. Cat, well done, congratulations. You've won the Flying Scotch Dram miniatures. I think that's meant to be a play on Flying Scotsman, but you got the Flying Scotch Dram miniatures. So those will be on their way to you. Paul, what are you saying to me there? Oh, loads of people talking to me. Maybe I'm going to put this here where I can see it a little bit better. Hope you don't mind the way that I'm doing this tonight. Evening, Paul, that's over the 12. Paul said, you have to have your comments of 100 characters or more for you. Yeah, got that, Paul Slade. Definitely making sense. Oh, are we swapping phones now? Okay, there we go. I'll do that. Thank you very much. Watching you. Bruce, I'm having a Shannon's roasted candy pecan dark ale with my Buffalo Trace chaser and my homemade New Year's traditional smoked oyster stew. Wow, Bruce, you're probably knocking the ball right out of the park with that one. We've got another few new faces watching us tonight. It's great to see you guys there. Ric Flair is also watching us. Ric Flair, I don't know if you're a bartender or a mixologist, but with a name like Ric Flair, you are either a wrestler. I think it was a guy, right? A wrestler who used to be with the WWE. He's called Ric Flair. Is that you? Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. Okay, look, before we go into our first cocktail of this evening, I want to tell you about our brand new premium whiskey competition. So this is not a members competition. This is open to anyone. It's a pay to enter, but it's 50p per entry. So we did this before Christmas. We did actually quite a long run-in, so I ran it for 2 months before Christmas. This new one is actually just going to run for 4 weeks. But we did it before Christmas. So I wanted to test whether there was an appetite for this sort of competition. We put up a really good whiskey. It was a 700-pound bottle of Glenfiddich Snow Phoenix. It proved to be a very popular competition. Our winner was a guy called Malcolm Gidala, who lives in London in Edgware. We had 2 runners-up, one in Scotland, one in New York. They also got runners-up prizes of Glenfiddich 18-year-olds as well. You can see more details about them on our current competition page. But to cut a long story short, because it was so popular, we are running this new one which began today. And what we have as our prize today for this month's competition is a bottle of Johnnie Walker Blue Label Ghost and Rare. It's the Brora and Rare release. In other words, the first one in the series. And if you know anything about this release, especially the 70cl bottle, in other words, the European size bottle, trying to get hold of that release now, it's like trying to find hen's teeth. It is very, very difficult. And when you do find it, it generally costs in the region of £900 plus. So yes, originally it sold for about £300, which, by the way, will bring me to a subject that we're going to cover a little bit later on in the broadcast. But now it's the best part of £1,000, this whiskey, if you want to buy the 70cl bottle of that Ghost and Rare. We have acquired a bottle. I've actually acquired it through some contacts, managed to get it, and I'm putting that up as our prize. And it only costs you 50 pence to potentially enter this competition for each entry and win that whiskey. Now, if you want to enter that competition, there is a link in the description, but also, as an early bird incentive for anyone that wants to get into that competition and get extra entries right now, I've put a code in the description, and that code will give you a 25% discount on your entries, but only today, only on January the 6th. You know, if you think about it and you enter tomorrow or next week or whatever, which is great and absolutely fine, you won't get the discount. So if you want to get in early today and get a load of entries in, you will get 25% off of however many entries you want to make into that competition. So link and information in the description. Click on that, not now, but click on that later on, and you can go over to the website and you find out more about all of that. So no problem with that. What else? Okay. That's it for now on that. Oh, let me show you a picture of it. So I don't actually have the bottle here. It's on its way over to me. Like I said, I acquired it. But that's what that beauty looks like. There we go. Each bottle is numbered, and I will be publishing the number of the bottle that is up for grabs. But yes, amazing prize. And hopefully a lot of you are going to be interested now. I know there's been quite a bit of action on the competition entry page today, so really pleased that you guys are in and you're playing, but like I say, make the most of that 25% discount. Okay, let's make our first cocktail of the evening. Actually, not before I just go and see who else is talking to me. What's this? Yeah, Barry Bullock's saying the 100 character comment is doing my fruiting. Can it be reduced? Comments have changed to being 100 characters at minimum, or it won't allow it. Oh, is that what's going on? So it has to be a minimum or it won't allow it. Really weird, kind of strange, isn't it? People talking about what's completely ridiculous. Well, look, as long as I've got it coming up on the phone, it means that I can talk to you. We can make it work. What have you got?
It's the comments. The comments have been set that anything with less than 100 words, you can't put a comment on there.
On there, but here it is.
No, on anybody's device, if they try to put anything like hello or anything.
Oh, is that right?
That's why you've got people putting loads of X's.
Oh, I see.
It's the only way that we can put.
Well, here's a couple of things which are quite interesting. One is I can see what's happening on my phone, so thank you for explaining the 100 character thing. Loads of kisses coming in my direction, I can see, from Bruce and Bob. And Bruce is saying you can't reply to each other.
That's what we put.
Wow, so can I show this? I'll show this right now.
That's what they're all getting.
So you're getting this, the thing that says, oh, it doesn't show very well, but the thing that says comment too short?
Yeah.
That's kind of ridiculous, isn't it? Look, I tell you what, guys, we're going to go through this. I'm going to try and pick up what you say on here, but what I am also going to do, if this is what YouTube are doing to us, between this broadcast and the next one, which will be at the beginning of February, I'm going to see if we can find another platform where we can interact more normally, because this is kind of ridiculous. Would you agree? I agree. I know you agree as well. All right.
I think it's just replying to each other. I think you can do it, but you can't reply.
There's nothing coming up here at all. Okay, look, let's not worry about that. Let's get into some cocktails. So, those of you that watched the broadcast over the last year might remember that I did this cocktail, or a play on a cocktail, called a Green Park. And a Green Park is a gin-based cocktail made with Old Tom gin. I made a kind of whiskey version of it, and I blended up some basil in there. But since I did that, I've been playing with this idea of blending up herbs instead of muddling them. So for years, you know, when we make cocktails, we take herbs like mint, which I'm about to use in a second, we muddle them to get the flavours out. But whizzing them up really fine actually sort of releases so much more flavour, and I've been playing with this. So I've got a version of this drink now that I've been messing around with, and I call it a South Park. So not a Green Park, this is a South Park, and it's kind of also a play on a julep as well. So I'm going to start by taking my tin, not my glass, but my tin, because I'm going to blend in here, so I want something a little bit higher. And what I've got here is some mint leaves, and I'm going to pretty much take off all the mint that I got. So we're going to end up in the region of, I don't know, 12 to 15 decent sized mint leaves. I'm keeping one back. That one I'm keeping back is going to be for a garnish. I don't want any of the stalk, so don't put any of the stalk in, just the leaves. And there's the last bit. This actually, I've got to tell you, this is some spearmint that I actually bought in bulk for a cocktail event that I did before Christmas. And we've kept this in the fridge, and I don't know how they managed to do it, but this mint just keeps and keeps and keeps, and fragrant and fresh, amazing. All right, so I've got the mint in there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a lemon, cut my lemon in half, and I want the juice of the whole lemon. So you know that if you've done these with me before, juice of a whole lemon is around about 25 ml, something like that, unless you've got a really big lemon going on there. So I'm going to squeeze that half, then going to squeeze another one. I can still see people trying to make comments down on my right hand side, but for whatever reason being totally sabotaged by Facebook. Can't think why they would do something like this, can you? Seems really very strange. Okay, there we are, that's our lemon. Now of course we want our whiskey, and I want a full on 50 ml. So in the UK that would be a double shot, but a 50 ml shot of our whiskey. Let's get our whiskey in there. There we are. That's very good. And I've decided to use this sort of Speyside style whiskey, Caribbean cask. So it's aged in rum casks, it's sweet and it's rounded, it's beautiful. But you can go any way you want with this. If you like something really peaty, Islay style, it works as well. Definitely works as well. Okay, so a few more ingredients. I'm going to add some vanilla syrup. You can, if you don't have vanilla syrup, you can use sugar syrup, but I find the vanilla works really well with this. So I'm going to pop in, there we go. It's about 10 ml, so equivalent to 2 teaspoons or 2 bar spoons. I've got the white of an egg, going to drop that in there as well. And then finally, I've got some mint bitters to go with the fresh mint. And I just want 2 or 3 dashes. So 1, 2, 3, well, there you go. That looked like 2.5 really. Okay, before I do anything, and this goes back to that drink that I was telling you about, the Green Park. Before I do anything, I want to whiz this up. I'm going to blend it up because I want to break everything down before I shake it. So I'm going to get this in there. There we go. Alright, so give this a really good go with my hand blender. Getting everything nice and whizzed up. The aroma coming out of this really is something else. Okay, let me just move my blender, which I'm going to use again, by the way, for another cocktail later on this evening. Let's move my blender to the side. Now, let's get this going. I'm going to shake this cocktail. So I'm going to fill my glass, doing this the opposite way round to normal. I'm going to fill my glass with ice, then I'm going to tip that in there. Now I'm going to give the whole thing a really good shake. So here we go. Alright, nicely shaken up. Break that open. Take my strainer and we're going to strain into, for those of you that know my glass collection, one of my favourite little retro style coupettes. You can see the little bits of blended mint in there. I want to get as much of that sort of frothy egg white in there as well. So I'm releasing the foam, giving it a little shake, getting more and more of that foam into the glass. Let me just put this to the side, and that. And then finally, going to garnish it with that mint leaf that we have. And there you go. This is my South Park cocktail. Just going to have a little taste. And wow, the release of the mint. It is entirely different to when you muddle mint in a drink, I don't know, like a mojito or a mint julep. It is a really different way to get the flavour out. And I'm finding that by using this technique, I'm getting so much more of that flavour, but in a way, slightly more subtle as well. Okay, so just rinsing this stuff off because I'm going to need that again shortly, so just bear with me a second. But what we're going to do is we're going to have a little bit of a chat now before we move on to anything else. Because I've been looking at the news, in particular the World Whiskey News, excuse me, and I've got a number of interesting stories that I picked out that I thought would be good to sort of pose a question or two with you guys and girls. There we go. You can see also, by the way, if I just hold this also up to the camera, you can see that as the egg white in there settles, you get more of a frothy head on the surface as well, which is really nice and creamy, but also subtly minty to drink through. Really works very well, actually. Okay, so let's pop that over there. Let's go back over here. Right, let's see if we can talk to anyone. Right, everyone's still talking about the 100 characters, which is a bit of a shame because I kind of feel that what's this? Bring them on camera? No, I don't want you guys on camera. I think I'm just wondering whether this is also partly to do with the fact that I've done this as an event rather than simply as a Facebook Live. I will look into it, like I say. All right. So this is my question to you. So I'm actually not even sure how this is going to work. I'm probably going to have to discuss this with myself because I'm not even sure that you... Oh, Bruce is saying, drink looks great, 100 X's. Brilliant, thank you very much. This is kind of crazy, isn't it? All right, so my question is this. Have you been on any whiskey tours? If so, what was the best whiskey, whiskey distillery tour? What was the best one that you've done? And why was it the best one that you've done? I didn't actually anticipate that you were going to have to write 100 X's in order to reply to my comment. But nevertheless, just see if you can. While you're thinking about that, I just wanted to tell you this. So what prompted this idea for me was Jameson Distillery in Bow Street. So I don't know if any of you guys, I'm sure many of you have actually, have done the Jameson Distillery tour. It's been named the world's leading distillery tour at the World Travel Awards for the 3rd year in a row. So the Jamesons, now this is not the world's best whiskey distillery tour, this is the world's leading distillery tour. So they'd already been awarded Europe's leading distillery tour, that was in November last year, but they competed in the finals against a list that included distillery tours by Macallan, by Hennessy, Jack Daniels, Jose Cuervo. So you see that we got Scotch whiskey in there, we got a Tennessee whiskey, we got a cognac, and we got a tequila in there. So it's not just about whiskey, but it came out on top. So where have you been? And what have you done? And why was it the best? Now, I can't see any comments coming up. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'll just quickly tell you the one that I think was my favourite distillery tour. And it was a number of years ago when Cheryl and I went to Scotland and we were dancing around a variety of distilleries, enjoying ourselves and drinking far too much whiskey. And we went to Aberlour in Speyside. And there was something about that distillery tour which was just better than the rest. So first of all, when you arrive, it doesn't feel like arriving at some kind of great big company. It feels like you've arrived at somebody's, I don't know, little craft distillery. The way they present the whole thing is like it's a craft, even though it's the 7th biggest selling whiskey, apparently. It was at the time the 7th biggest selling Scotch whiskey in the world, Aberlour. At the time, I say, I don't know if that's still the case. But it doesn't feel like that when you're there. You then get a tour, which for whatever reason, with all the tours that I've done, seem to be more personable, more relaxed, but really informative. And then, without doubt, the best tasting session that I've had at any distillery in Scotland. It went on for ages. Actually, at one point I forgot we were on a tour and it just felt like we were with a whole bunch of friends drinking all sorts of different whiskies. And that went right away from New Make Spirit up to things like their Abuna. It was amazing. It was. I got very, very drunk, actually. But that was my favourite. What about yours? Okay, thank goodness some of you have been able to reply. What have we got here? Okay, so Bob's saying Glenturret a few years back when it was famous grouse. 6 samples. The Glenmorangie tour is great too. Yep, done that one. I haven't done Glenturret though, although we did some stuff with Glenturret at Dream Whiskies a few years back when we were sort of first getting going. Cat Jam, Bushmills was good. Haven't done Jameson's. Actually, I hired a car. I was doing some work out in Ireland some years ago. Had a day off, hired a car, and got round a few distillery tours, but that didn't include Jameson's either. Glen Garrick. Old Meldrum, it was on my childhood doorstep. This is Avril. And you're invited to taste at every stage. Loving that. Including the drying grains, going home with an orange from the glasshouse too. That sounds great, Avril. Loving that. And Bruce is saying, my favourite is, what have we got here? My favourite is the Panther Distillery in Osakis, Minnesota. Why? Because it's the only one that I've ever been to. Right, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I just think that's what makes a great tour. I mean, I really want to get to Jameson. I've done the Scotch whisky experience, in Edinburgh. That's not a distillery tour, but it's kind of a nice little tour with an amazing collection of whiskies at the end of it. But it's that interesting thing, is it? Is it about the people? Is it the person taking you on the tour? I find that the more corporate the tour feels, the less I enjoy it. Whereas the more personal, the more it feels like you're going to someone's home. Even if they're a huge brand, the more I enjoy it. I imagine Jameson's is a bit like that. Dave Chilton saying Bunnahabhain Distillery, because of where it is, location-wise, absolutely beautiful, really friendly staff. It was about £7 per person for the tour, which includes a good dram of whiskey. I actually had to purchase a few bottles prior to the tour, so I ended up having 5 drams, including one of the 40-year-old. Now that is a proper tasting. Once you start getting to the 40-year, plus you put 100 kisses in there. I don't think you have to put the X's in after you wrote that much, Dave. But yeah, that sounds like a great one. Paul said he had a tour of Oban, loved it as it was quite small and personal, and loved the fish restaurants in the town. That's pretty cool. Sharon and I also, where did we get to? We got to one distillery, which was really like, I think it might have been Glenfarclas, where you actually feel like, and if any of you have been there, you'll know this, but you actually feel like you're going into somebody's home. I don't mean when you're going around the warehouses, but when you're in that visitor's centre. It feels, like 1970s carpets that haven't been changed for ages. The furniture's been there forever, and that sort of thing. It just sort of felt very homely. It was nice. I quite enjoyed that. Okay, all right, look, it's kind of a difficult discussion, but thanks for the comments. I'm glad that some of them are coming through, so I'm picking them up on the phone, which is why I'm not looking directly at you. We're going to have another subject to talk about in a second, but before we do that, let's get on to our second cocktail of the evening. And I'm liking this cocktail, and now this one's properly settled out, by the way. So you can see all that whizzing puts quite a lot of air into it, and you really need a moment for it to settle out. It's not unlike the time you have to afford a Guinness to get the perfect pint of Guinness. This next cocktail I call a Spice 400, and I'm making this because I was given, many of you will know that I now do quite a bit of stuff with the Giffard range of liqueurs. You can probably see them in the back here, but they also have a premium range of liqueurs, and they brought out this new one, which I was very kindly sent a bottle of to play with a little bit, and it's called Piment d'Espelette. Okay, so pimento or rather the Espelette pimento or pepper. So it comes from that bright red chili, and I call this a Spice 4000. And the reason why I call it a Spice 4000 is that this particular chili that they use to make this, the Espelette, is 4,000 on the Scoville scale. So that is pretty hot. That's like mid-range jalapeno heat on that, and you can definitely get it through this fabulous liqueur. And I'm going to combine this with some other flavours to give you something which actually I think is really quite a spectacular play on a mango and chili sour. So going to go back to the original shaker that we had, and I'm going to do a similar thing as I did before, because I'm going to do another bit of blending. This time I will show you what I'm doing with the glass, and then I'll probably turn it around and mix it up a little bit. Start with our whiskey. So I'm going to put in 35ml of our whiskey. Again, reminding you that I'm going for a really sort of rich Speyside character whiskey here. Then I'm going to add a different liqueur to the one that I just showed you. So this is a passion fruit liqueur. You've seen me use this a number of times in other cocktails, but the flavour of the passion with the pimento that I'm going to put in really blends very well, and the sweetness and the fruitiness with the heat It's just kind of a match made in heaven. So 25 ml of this. So let me just get that up to 25 line. There we are. That's good. And then we're going to go for our Piment d'Espelette. And I'm going to put 25 ml of that in as well. Now, when you have this on its own, it really has some heat and some bite. But when you don't, when you mix it in another cocktail, then the heat drops back a little. But because it blends so beautifully, it's not an offensive, distracting heat. It's just sort of adding to the overall experience of this cocktail. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add, I've got some mango and apple juice in here. So you can either use pure mango juice or a mango and apple mix. I'm using a mango and apple mix. So I'm going to put 75 ml of that in there as well. There we are. So there's 50 and another 25. That's good. And then the final thing that I'm going to add are some raspberries. And I just love raspberries in and alongside flavours like mango. Now you could use a raspberry liqueur, but I don't want that. I want the sharpness of fresh raspberries. So I've got 4 or 5 small ones in here, so I'm just going to drop them all in. And like I said before, ordinarily, historically, what I would have done is mash up the raspberries and then add the ingredients and give it a shake. But because I've got my kind of hand blender out, that's what I'm going to do again. So I'm going to move this into the tin. I'm going to give it a quick whiz with the hand blender. So just let me get that plugged in again under the pot. Let's whiz those up. That's good. It gives a really beautiful colour. It's a kind of orangey, pinky blush to it. Not overwhelming in any sense with any of the colours. In particular, there's just that kind of warmth to it, which also reflects what we've got going on here, which is the heat in the cocktail. Now, as I did with the previous cocktail, I'm going to add the ice and give it a shake. Doesn't need too much. Just make sure it gets nice and cold. And we know we're nice and cold with the frosting on there. So let me just pop that to the side. I'm going to put my can there, and I'm going to take my glass. I'm using a rocks glass. I'm going to add some fresh ice to this. There we go. Let's get one of those out. That's good. And then this needs to be double strained, and it needs to be double strained through a fine strainer because of the little pips that you get in the raspberries. We don't want those going through into the drink. So I'm going to put this through my fine strainer. There we go. Nice and easy. You can see it's a beautiful colour, isn't it? And it's the raspberries that take that yellow of the mango and turn it into something which is more sort of pinky orange. And it really does reflect well the flavour of this drink. It's a gorgeous blend. If I was going to garnish this, I would garnish it with a little bit of fresh mango. Have to be honest, because we're in lockdown at the moment, difficult to get out, haven't got any fresh mango, so won't be garnishing it, but I will tell you that that's what I would put on. There we go. Let's tap that out. Let's just get that back in there. There we go, very good. Let's pop that on the side. And that's our drink. This is what I call my Spiced 4000. Let's bring it up closer to the camera. Wonderful, and like I say, if you want to make this with a more full-bodied or a more peaty whiskey, I'm always thinking about the peaty whiskies because there's quite a few of you who just love that kind of Islay style. It works fine, again, it works really, really well. Let's have a taste. You can taste the pimento in that as if I'd actually crushed some in. I mean, it's not as raw and as rough as if I'd have crushed it in. But it's unmistakably that Espelette chili in there. But not too hot because I blended it down with everything else. It's really nicely balanced. Loving this drink. Really loving this drink. It's a cracker. Okay, let's see what you guys have got to say. Bruce is saying, nice combo. Going to try that one. Thank you very much. And Cat Jam is saying, looks and sounds delicious. Bruce, I have some Mexican candied mango slices that would go great with that as garnish. Yeah. Definitely, but I'm guessing that would probably bring an immediate end to the diet. Really, Bruce, you're not actually on a 2021 January style diet. Everyone knows they don't work, best thing to do, not do it now. Get the candied mango peel, add it to the drink, come back to the diet in February, I think. Yeah, diets always start tomorrow, I've been told. Okay, cheers. By the way, I didn't tell you, did I tell you? Can't actually remember because I know we're in such a mess. Oh yeah, I did tell you that. Yeah, Cat Jam, you know that, don't you? You know that you won that spot prize from last week. All a bit messy this evening because of this thing, but hold on a second, what have we got here? I see an actual comment. Comments are in. Well, that's kind of weird. So I've now got 4 comments from you guys on my screen. Don't know why, all come through in the last minute. Something's happened. I've got Paul, this is much better me talking here. Got Paul Musson replying to Cheryl saying time for Paul to create cherry banana concoction and get to drink it himself. But guessing that would probably, oh I see, right, that was Paul who said that. I thought it was Bruce that said that. Okay, now I'm getting it, all right. Just completely lost it this evening, but that's okay. Look, next discussion topic. Let's see what I've got here. So, all right, so here's my question. Well, it's like a 2-part question. So, how many of you have invested in whiskey? And I mean, either intentionally or unintentionally. Intentionally, what I mean is you bought it specifically as an investment. The other side to that is that you bought something, didn't realize that it was going to go completely stratospheric in value, didn't drink it for whatever reason, then suddenly found out it was worth 100 times what you paid for it. Does that happen to any of you? And if so, would you, if you had £1,000 and I said to you, put your money in something that's going to give you the best return in 5 years, would you put it in whiskey? And the reason why I said that is that I was just looking at a couple of things here. So first of all, in the news, I don't know why this one in particular, I think it's because of what he actually paid for it when he bought it as opposed to what he sold it for. But I got a story here about a man who bought a 1937 Macallan 50 odd years ago in the 1970s. He paid £11 for it. Okay, £11. So what's that, my American friends, in dollars? That's what, at the moment, $14, $15, something like that? That's what he paid for a 1937 Macallan in the 1970s. When he sold it at auction, he sold it for £2,700. So he bought it for 11, sold it for £2,700. I can't even begin to think what that is in terms of a percentage return on your money. Cheryl was saying, I think Paul has totally lost it tonight, guys. Yeah, thank you. At least I got that comment coming in. Definitely lost it tonight. Next thing is that apparently since 2009, the value of whiskey has risen 582%. So I don't know whether you guys have got any money spare, whether you invest in whatever you put your money in, but where do you get 582% return over, what's that, 11 years, 12 years? I mean, it just doesn't happen. So would you put your money into whiskey? That's my question. Would you put your money into whiskey? Or have you done it and didn't realize it? Listen to this. The Cask Whisky investment company called Whiskey and Wealth Club, they predict that because of COVID-19 and because of the effect of COVID-19 on the whiskey industry, and they were talking about the Scotch whisky industry in particular, but nevertheless, so what's it done? It's shut down production in some places. It's certainly slowed down production in others. They're saying that the 2020 age statement whiskies are going to be, obviously you've got to wait a little while for this, but they're going to be the whiskies that are in high demand in the future because there is relatively so little of them. So, I mean, you know, you're probably going to have to end up being 140 years old before you're actually going to cash in on that. But the fact of the matter is, would you, given the opportunity, if somebody said, right, you can nail down some 2020 whiskies now for whenever they're put in a cask in, I don't know, 12 years time or whatever it happens, when they're put in the bottle in 12 years time or whatever it happens to be, would you do that? Would you put your money down on those now for a long-term investment? What's this? Barry Bill, you changed the setting earlier when you tried to get the comments to appear, Paul. We get this appear on screen. The broadcaster chose to apply his settings. Comments for this must be at least 100. Okay, I'm not even sure what that is. That was here, right? So I was given either only followers can leave comments or slow. Maybe you should do that. How about that? Hey, you might have got something here. How about if I do that? Let's see if that's going to work. Guys, tell me if that's working for you. Have you got another message come up? Sure looks like she's finding different emojis. Okay, drink is a lovely colour, says Kaz. Kaz, Happy New Year, by the way. Bob, what are you saying? I have a bottle of Bladnoch that was given to me when the distillery was silent. Then someone reopened the distillery. Oh, well, hang on. Yeah, that could be a good one. Paul Musson purchased the inaugural release of Rassi for £100 with every intention of drinking, but within a month I watched 4 separate bottles for 450 quid plus. And that was one of the few highlights of 2020. So I guess you still got that one, Paul. And Cheryl's still finding different emojis. Yeah, Bruce is saying, but how do you know which one to invest in? Yeah, I don't know. How do you know? You see, I had something. So the best investment that I ever had, and we go on to cocktail number 3 in a second, but the best investment I ever had actually wasn't an investment at all. Somebody gave me a bottle of something. It wasn't even whiskey. But when I had my cocktail bar many, many years ago, somebody came in to the bar, one of my customers, and he gave me a bottle, like a white ceramic bottle, of something called Kway Chao Mutai, which is a Chinese spirit, which it turns out, I didn't know this at the time, I didn't know this for very many years, is in really great demand. So I had this ceramic bottle. When I sold my bar, it came with me in boxes. It's been on different moves, different houses, just never really did anything. And at one point, I was just getting rid of a load of stuff because I was completely overloaded with alcohol. It might sound ridiculous that I was going to get rid of it, but I was just going to get rid of stuff which I'd just been carrying around for years and years. And I didn't get rid of that. I was thinking about getting rid of that bottle and I didn't. And then somehow, a month or so later, pure coincidence, I'm scrolling through some stuff online and I notice this bottle of Kway Chao Mutai, the same as, very similar in any way to the one that I got. And I saw that it had gone for about 400 quid at auction. I think, crikey, I was going to throw that away. Maybe I should try and sell it. And to cut a long story short, I did. I put it on an auction where it didn't sell for 400 quid. It sold for £1,500. And I was going to chuck that in the bin. Since then, I found out a lot about Kway Chao Mutai, and it depends on the age and how much is in the bottle and all that sort of thing. But it is in big demand if you've got a bottle, especially the older ones. Very good. Someone saying the cryptocurrency was a good investment, but I'm trying to buy whiskies to invest for your kid. Hope he will not drink it. Well, that can happen. That can definitely happen. Barry, I just had a different message. Be the broadcaster chose supply setting. Comments for this stream must be at least 100k. Oh, goodness me. Sorry about that, Barry. Really trying very hard to make this work. I'm not sure what I'm doing here at all. This is all very different. Oh, I can take that off. There. How's that? That might do it. I'm not sure. That might do it. I think what they've done is they've added another feature which wasn't there before, and actually it's complicated the whole thing. All right, let's make another cocktail. Shall I make another cocktail? This is a pretty good one, and it's been influenced, as many of my cocktails are, by my lovely wife Cheryl, who said, you've got to use this in your cocktail. So the final ingredient that goes into this cocktail was a creative instruction from Cheryl. Hopefully you will like it. So let me get the glass. As you also will know, that if she's been influencing what I do with, it's working, it's working, it's working. Oh, goodness me. Bruce, test. Yes, Cheryl, hi. Oh, that's better. Barry, no. Oh. Welcome back, everyone. Oh, my goodness. It worked. It worked. Right, I had to press something that said slow, strangely enough. I was given 5 different options. I just picked the one just now that said slow, and that seems to have done it. Barry saying start the broadcast from the beginning. Yeah, that's how I feel. Oh God, no, I feel better now. I feel like I've been on my own the whole time. This has been really quite a depressing start to the year. But now you're all here, so it's even better. It's like doubly good because it's made the broadcast even better towards the latter part. Look, we're not done yet, Barry, so we've still got some more stuff to do. Yeah, Dave's saying think it's working. Gary's saying well done, it works. Michael Nolan, hi Paul Sherrill. This feels like the start, doesn't it? Paul, we're hearing more time for drinking rather than typing. Yeah, that's more like it. Kostutsis, is that right? Kostutsis. Can you tell me just if I've got your name right, or I'm anywhere near pronouncing it correctly? Really pleased that you're in and commenting and getting involved. Good to see some new people on this. But Jeff saying, isn't technology wonderful? Tell me about it, Jeff. Wow, okay. Feeling so much better now. Nothing worse than playing to an empty room, okay? Which is kind of what it feels like when one's talking back to you. Oh, just Kez. All right, thank you for that. Thank you, Kez. That definitely makes it a lot easier. You just aren't geeky enough. I am not geeky enough. We've got geeks in the family. We even, one of our daughters, we even refer to her as the IT department. So, yeah, we've got geeks in the family. But you're right, I'm not geeky enough. Get a job in IT. I don't think so. I don't think they want me in IT. All right, let's make our last cocktail of the evening. This is going to have cherries in it. I bought some cherry juice, some clear cherry juice. I got quite an abundance of that, so I'm going to be using that. I'm going to be using cherry liqueur whiskey, of course, and watch how it goes. Watch how this one goes. All right, so let me bring a couple of bits over here. Going in a highball glass. I'm going to start with our whiskey as ever, and I'm going to put in a 35ml shot again. So you know that most of my whiskey cocktails generally tend to be either the 35ml or the 50ml. 50ml if I'm going for something more hardcore, 35 if I'm looking to just sort of blend that whiskey more into the background. Next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cherry, so cherry brandy here, and I'm going to put in a 25ml shot of cherry brandy. It's amazing actually, cherry brandy, I mean cherry is such a distinct flavour in a cocktail, and yet if you blend it with other things it's quite difficult to get it to come to the fore. And that's why I wanted to put it together with this cherry juice to see if I can just lift it a little bit more. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go for our cherry bitters. I'm going to put 4 or 5 really good dashes of the cherry bitters in. And I don't know if you could see from your point of view of the camera, but cherry bitters are clear. There's no red to it, which is not unlike the juice that I'm going to put in now, which is also clear. And I'm going to put 50ml of our cherry juice. You'll see probably better now when I pour it. It doesn't have colour. And then another 25, so let's get that to 75. That's good. To help with the colour and to bring the flavour forward, a bit more sweetness, I'm going to put in some grenadine. So grenadine will lift the colour, definitely, but it will also lift the sweetness, and the sweetness lifts the flavour of the cherry. So whenever you want to lift the flavour of an ingredient that you add, like a herb, sugar will lift that. And also if you want to lift the flavour of a liqueur or the flavour that you put in, and you want to try and bring that more to the front, again, a little bit more sugar lifts that. Not good for your waistline, but definitely good for bringing the flavour forward. All right, there we go. That's good. It's very good. And we've got 7.5ml of that, so just under 10ml. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shake this up. This is going to go in the glass. Then we're going to do a couple of other things to it. Before I do, let me just get back to you guys, what you're saying here. Kaz is saying I have an IT department son. Okay, that's how it works. Bruce, I like my favourite IT joke. The problem is a faulty interface between the chair and the keyboard. I think I get that one. I think I'm IT geeky enough to actually understand that one. Thank you for that, Bruce. Jeff has replied, given the choice between a geek and a mixologist, I'll take the mixologist every time. That's what I like to hear. Thumbs up from Cheryl to Kaz. There we go. Cheryl will steal that one. I don't know. She's sort of taking it easy tonight, Cheryl. Definitely. Anyway, right. Let's mix this up. So I want to get some ice. There we go. Into my shaker. Just put my glass to the side like that. Let's give this a good shake. Okay, that's good. Starting to look certainly a lot more cherry. And smell a lot more cherry. A little bit of ice in here. I don't want too much ice in this glass. So bring it to about a third of the way up. And let's strain that into there. So let's bring it up to about there. That's good. That's enough. I actually got more left in my shaker. But I just want to clearly demonstrate how we put the rest of this together. So now I'm going to bring it up with some cream soda. Again, those of you that know, I bought a bit too much cream soda, so I'm using it in different drinks. And I'm bringing the cream soda up to within about an inch or so of the top of the glass. So this adds a really nice vanilla flavour to it. I like cream soda. It reminds me of my childhood. And I think it goes better in there than a lot of other sodas. So I want it within about an inch of the top of the glass, because the last thing that we're going to put on here, and this comes from, what's this? It's being naughty, trying to get me to break my diet. Yes. This, squirty cream. All right, here we go. Whoa. Cheryl's implicit, explicit instructions. So there we go. This, ladies and gentlemen, I have called a cherry cream sundae. Let's get that in the side, like so. Diet out the window. Diet probably pushed all the way back to 2022, I think. What's this? Bruce is saying, go ahead, a sip or two. I think you're trying to encourage Cheryl to have a sip of these drinks. Another beautiful colour, says Kaz. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, another beautiful colour. Cheryl's really not sure. She hasn't been in at all, has she? She hasn't even photographed any of our cocktails this evening. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to have a little drink of this one myself. Loving that. And I'll probably have a tiny taste of this. So actually, because of the cream soda that's in this, this is already really creamy. And if you love this sort of stuff, then you know, ditch the straw, get your nose in it, give yourself a cream moustache up here, and just go for it, like you would have done when you were a kid, definitely. And back to this. Loving those, actually loving those. So, what a colourful three. Yeah, they're looking good, aren't they? YOLO, Cheryl, says Bruce. YOLO. What is your personal favourite from the three? For me, Gary, my personal favourite actually is probably this the second one, the one that I call Spice 4000. Just really like the blend of flavours, and I like that kind of pimento flavour coming through. It's one of those things. If you don't like the flavour of peppers and chilies, then you might not like that flavour coming through. But I would say that it's probably the most beautiful balance of flavour. So that's my favourite, but they're all pretty good actually. Cat Jam, get in there, Cheryl. Revenge for all those pranks played in the past. Yeah, hey, they're all getting on your back now, darling. How does it feel to have all these people dotted around the world who've got your number? They know what you're about. Okay, all right, so those are our three cocktails for this evening. What's my last conversation with you? This is one that just every time I look online or I check the whiskey news, Gary's saying I love chilies. Well, Gary, if you love chilies, you will love that drink. I'm going to show you all, just in case any of you want to go and buy this. Let's pop it up to the camera there. Can you see that? It's not very clear, is it? But it's by Giffard, Giffard, and it's called Piment d'Espelette, and that's D'Espelette. It costs a few bob, because it's in their premium range, so you're going to pay probably £25-30, I should think, for this bottle, I imagine, but it's definitely worth it. And it's not the sort of thing that you're going to sort of glug back and it's going to disappear. You get some really good use out of it. So if you do, anyone, pick it up and you start to use it, let me know what you do with it, let me know how you get on with it. But it's a nice product, it's a really nice product. Use the force, Cheryl. Oh! Cheryl's given up. I have never managed to get Cheryl to wave the white flag over anything. You guys have obviously got... Yeah. But I have to tell you, she says she's given up, but I am Will. Absolutely, I will. All right, so let me get back to my last discussion point with you guys. And now that you can actually comment, this is really interesting to see what you think. So when I look on the Whiskey News, or I like to read other people's blogs and all that sort of stuff, pretty much whatever site you go to, if you look down the blogs, you look down the news, it is one release after another. And I don't mean one release a day. You know, it's just release after release after release after. Every distillery is just releasing and releasing new lines, new strands, new ranges, new limited editions, new this, new that. So my question is that a good thing? Do you think that's a good thing? Or are there too many whiskey releases? You know, is it the case that the more we buy, the more they're just going to say, right, okay, let's put another label on it. Let's give it a different name. Let's keep it in the cask for 6 months longer and call it, I don't know, call it the snooze cask or whatever. They just keep coming up with new names and new releases and new bottlings. Are they taking advantage of whiskey collectors? Are they taking advantage of whiskey drinkers? I know, for example, that I wouldn't call myself an out-and-out collector of whiskies, but I got quite a few. And I'm sure some of you guys out there have got many more whiskies than I have. But the question is it a, I don't even know how to put this. Are we being taken advantage of? Is it the fact that if I collect Jura whiskies and I think, right, I want every new release, are they just going to keep releasing them because I just keep buying them? And what's the difference between them? And are they any good? Is the quality high enough? You know, all those sorts of things. So the question I put to you right now is, are we being taken advantage? Is it a good thing? Are there too many? What are your views? No comment. Bob, what are you saying? Some no age statement whiskey is actually bad. I think there's a lot of whiskies out there that are pretty ropey. But, you know, we get so caught up in the idea, don't we, of collecting them, that we end up just buying it. We think, well, we've got to add that to our collection. Cheryl's saying, surely you can never have too many whiskies. Well, that's the other side of the coin. I mean, I love having loads and loads of whiskies. Or they link it to a TV show, says Bruce, King of Thrones. Yeah. How about those? How about those whiskies? And by the way, the set, so they want collectors to buy the set, the Game of Thrones set, but how many sets are they doing? They just keep putting out more and more and more and more. If you keep buying them, they do it. By the end of it, they will have released, I don't know, 1 million sets, 5 million sets of them. They don't actually care, they just want you to buy them. You know, I love whiskey, I love buying them, I love having special bottles, but I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I think there's an element, it's a bit like a football club. Okay, I don't know how this works in America, I don't know if it's the same thing, but over here, you know, kids, they support a football team, right? And they beg their parents to buy them the football kit, which is a shirt and some shorts and some socks, I guess. I don't know if socks are part of the kit, actually, but I don't follow football, but I know about this, right? And the clubs charge the most extraordinary amounts of money to buy an official football kit. And so the kids nag the parents go and spend the money on the football kit, the kids get the kit, and halfway through the season, the club changes the kit and brings in a new design, and off they go again. I even remember people complaining about the fact that they felt they were being taken advantage of. They make absolutely millions of pounds doing it in football. Is the same thing happening in whiskey? Jeff's saying too many whiskies and not enough money. Tell me about it. Cheryl's saying it's like having too many shoes. Paul, at the end of the day, a business operates to generate profit, and that's what they're chasing. Yeah, absolutely right. That's what we're all trying to do, right? We're all trying to make a profit. So are we? Yeah, maybe I'm taking the wrong stance here. Maybe there's nothing wrong with them doing that. You know, if there's supply and demand, then sure. Dave's saying, I'm sure they have so many releases as a commercial decision. If you're a collector, then there are still plenty of good ones to buy. Yeah, so in a way, don't buy them all. Just I don't know, follow your heart for the ones that you believe are those beautiful whiskey drinking experiences. Barry, I drink whiskey, but I won't collect them. Well, great. It's funny enough, actually, Barry. I have to say, after last year and everything that's been going on, and without bringing the tone down, but I think the last year for all of us has been a real reality check of what matters. I've stopped putting bottles of whiskey on the shelf and saving them for a special occasion. I've just started opening them and drinking them because let's drink them. There's no point leaving them there, is there? Michael, what are you saying? It can devalue a brand, though. What are you saying? Just releasing too many things. I suppose it depends how you look at it. I guess from Diageo's point of view, doing Game of Thrones and stuff like that, they are about mass bulk selling of products. So whether it's whiskey or whether it's Gordon's gin or Smirnoff vodka, they just want to sell tons, right? But I guess what you're saying is a brand that is about the whiskey could devalue it. Are Macallan doing that? Doesn't seem to be affecting their prices at the moment, does it? Interesting, yeah, interesting one. Okay, where are we? Let's open this up again. So tonight it's been a kind of a strange broadcast with half of it me not even being able to talk to you, looking on the phones, eventually working out how. What are you saying, Paul? I agree totally with Barry. Nice one. Yeah, I agree as well. How to get the comments to work. So really sorry that it took me so long, but I was completely blindsided by the new interface that we got going on here. But look, few things to say to you before we sign off and get into January. And that is this, that firstly, I hope you all had a good Christmas and a New Year. I really appreciate all of you who stuck with us over 2020. And I do hope, and I know I've had a number of messages from quite a few of you, but I do hope that we in some way with our broadcast brought a few smiles to your faces during some pretty rubbish times. We've still got a bit of a challenge ahead of us, but with vaccines and that out there in the world, maybe there is some real light at the end of the tunnel. So everyone stay safe and stay well. The last thing I want to remind you about is our brand new premium competition. We're giving away a bottle of whiskey worth the best part of £1,000, and the entrance into our competition costs just 50p. The link is in the description. It's that amazing bottle of Johnnie Walker Ghost and Rare, the Brora release, the first one, so Brora and Rare, which you just can't get hold of for less than 900 odd quid in a 70cl European bottle. So we managed to get one. We're going to give it away to one of you. If you click the link and you enter today, you can also use the code in the description. I put the code there. It will give you 25% off your entries, which essentially brings a 50p entry down to what, 37.5p. So get yourself in. The competition runs for 4 weeks. I'll be announcing the winner probably in our February broadcast. So make sure you go and do that. What else? Enjoy the cocktails. I will be also over the next 4 weeks before our next broadcast going back to this idea and trying to get around this, which I know a lot of you have been interested in, about our live whiskey tastings. In other words, putting together sets of miniatures which we can send out to those of you that are interested and run some live whiskey tastings. We're still looking at the feasibility of it, but we will make that work as well. So, notwithstanding, kind of a messy broadcast for the beginning of 2021. Thank you for sticking with us. I hope you have absolutely enjoyed it. Just let's look at a few last minute questions here. Barry, XXX just because. Okay. Bruce is saying, I think it's with regard to whiskey, I collect 3 or so in my cupboard, then drink them. That sounds pretty good. I like that approach to drinking and collecting whiskey. Barry, I have 11 on the go at the moment. That also sounds very healthy. Michael Nolan, doubled my entries because of that code. Good to hear that. Thank you very much, Michael. I wish you the best of luck in that. And Bruce, nice. I've got about 15 different beers in rotation at the moment. Okay. Oh, Cheryl, personalised cocktails. Night, night. Everyone stay safe and stay well from Cheryl. So Cheryl's reminding me of the personalised cocktail thing. So I'm going to just tell you about this. One of the things that I do, which is not part of Dream Whiskey, is part of my broader cocktail business, is that we do this thing which is an amazing gift for people, where if you want to buy a gift for someone who has everything and you don't know what to get them and you want to do something different, I do this thing called a personalized cocktail, where I take information about that person and then craft a unique cocktail around them, their taste, their life event. So the cocktail is absolutely uniquely their personalized cocktail. We create a certificate, a recipe, we name it after that person. We even take their name and use an anagram to come up with a brand new title for that cocktail. Plus, these days, because everything's online, I also put together with it either the option of a live broadcast of me showing the person maybe on their birthday, if it's a birthday gift, how to make it, and we do it live with them, or I record a video that can be played to them, which is me actually talking to them and showing them how to make the cocktail. Personalized cocktail, the ultimate gift. If you are looking for a gift for someone in your life, wedding, birthday, anniversary, whatever, drop me a message through Messenger on here, or Facebook, or the Dream Whiskies email address that you got. Ask me about it and I'll give you some more information. Look, that's enough of me punting business. As Paul would say, we're all in the business of trying to make some kind of money and keep our businesses alive. So forgive me if you feel that I've been doing quite a bit of that, but that's what we do. And I hope you all have a safe and well and great January. And I really look forward to seeing you all again in 4 weeks' time at the beginning of February. For now, that's me. I'm out. Look after yourself. Love to all. Bye.